This is the Free Grace International Podcast. freegrace.in.
Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Free Grace International Podcast. My name is Krista and this is my husband, Lucas.
Hello.
And we are happy to be here with you today.
I'm glad you're happy. I feel happy. We are happy to be, but anywhere, really? I mean, I've never not been anywhere since I was born. Isn't that weird? I've always been somewhere.
It's true.
Just a long
Deep
string of
thoughts by
somewheres.
Lucas.
Yes.
Well, I feel like I'm a little extra happy these days.
Okay.
You might be as well.
Okay, tell me about it.
Because our baby, our youngest, who is now 14 months old.
Could you do the math on that?
1 year plus 2 months.
Okay.
Is finally sleeping through the night.
I wondered what that sensation was. I've been having this sensation at night, and I think it might be silence.
Yes.
But, quite often I wake, sort of half wake, to the sound of That's my best rendition of him crying.
That doesn't sound very accurate.
But if you heard that, you'd be like, oh.
There's a cat dying somewhere.
A dingo got into the baby's den and he's going to eat the baby. So what does that mean for you? Because, you seem to be getting up to wrestle the baby at night. What do you do? What do you do?
I feed him. He gets hungry. He likes a snacky snack all night long.
Yeah. I've heard it's a thing that people get up, even not babies. I guess babies don't, but that, people get up and go to the refrigerator, but...
Yeah, for a midnight snack.
For a midnight snack.
Well, he likes a midnight, 2 a.m., 4 a.m.
Yeah, so it sounds more like... It sounds more like he believes the cruise ship buffet is open all night.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was.
Yeah. So you made a change, I guess? You decided to...
Which, it's just kind of ridiculous because this is our third child, and I've done this every single time. For some reason, in the middle of the night, my brain says, okay, the quickest way to get you back to sleep is just to go feed the baby, and then you can go back to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't want to suffer. You wanted to...
Yes.
You wanted to smooth ride on in back to the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, so what did you change exactly?
Well, we did some sleep training.
Okay.
Which is controversial. A controversial topic.
It's controversial?
Well, I don't know. There's different methods to sleep train a baby.
Well, we didn't put a pillow over his face or anything.
No, I went a route that is, I think any way you slice it, sleep training is just hard. It's just going to involve some suffering on both the parents and the baby's part. I don't know. I think some babies just naturally sleep through the night. I've heard of it. Never experienced it, but I've heard it to be true.
So, but why is it controversial?
Oh, because...
is it kind of like it's discipline or something?
No, I think because one of the methods is to just let him cry for a long time, and some people say that that's damaging the baby. And well, I think if you do it certain ways, it is. But the way I feel like the route we took is kind of a happy medium.
Well, okay, so it depends on what you mean by let them cry. If you let them cry without having any knowledge of whether they're okay, like what if our middle child smuggled a screwdriver into his crib before he went to bed, and he's laying there playing with the screwdriver and he poked himself in the cheek or something? Well, I'd want to know that.
Right.
So we're not really just letting him cry if
No, I don't think we did like the cry it out necessarily method, but we did have to let him cry for a little while so that he could figure out that he's able to put himself back to sleep. But
what I'm getting at is we have a security camera in his room.
Yes.
Not to make sure he doesn't get out, but
that I'm doing this to the whole time he's crying.
So we have a camera over his bed. I guess it's like the modern equivalent of a baby monitor, but so we're aware.
We know when's the last time he ate.
I don't think that's controversial.
When's the last time he had a diaper change? And no, I think the way we did it is probably.
But so, let's just, okay. So
we're getting way off topic. We haven't even gotten on to the topic yet.
Then let's park on the side of the road here for a second. It's silly to me that, now I don't read mommy blogs and stuff like that, but it's silly to me that it would be controversial to create a situation where your child has to figure out how to deal with life. I mean, that just seems like at some point the child is going to have to deal with, some difficulties in life. And to me, this is a really safe place to do it. He's in a padded crib, and, we do check on him to make sure he hasn't fulfilled the capabilities of his diaper, for instance, or whatever. We check on that, but it just doesn't.
Yeah.
I guess
and for me,
the
the proof is in the pudding, because every single time.
Are you talking about his diaper?
No, not that funny. Okay. Every single time after we have done, just kind of hunkered down and done some sleep training for this. In this case, it was one night. That's all it took was one night. Some of our other kids, it took more than that, but still only 2 or 3 nights. But after that, they're so much happier because they're sleeping through the night. They wake up happier. They're happier throughout the day. They're happier going to bed the next night. Yeah. It just makes, and I'm happier, and I'm functioning way better as a parent.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they're actually sleeping.
So it's worth it to go through that difficult 12 hours. Actually, it's really not even 12 hours of difficulty. It's like less than 1 hour. Yeah. That's really hard.
Well, because he cries for a little bit, but he went back to sleep. Now, I don't envy anybody that's in the situation where their baby will cry all night. That probably does happen, and that I don't mean to minimize that.
No.
But I would also say let's be careful about calling it controversial, griping about what any parent has to do to make things work, because we're not living in their world, and so it's real easy to start giving, this is what you ought to do, but I mean, we're working from the assumption that their child is like our child, and or ours is like theirs, or whatever, and that's not real fair, because every kid's different, and I tend to think that God designed people to be able to figure out how to be parents, and I think one of the things is you could probably take a guess that if you're doing whatever's the easy route, it might not be the best route, or if you're taking the route that's the route of least suffering, often that might not be the right route. Now, I gather that you wrote something about this, and I know because I read it. Yes. It's not on the website yet, but it will be soon. So tell us. So you've kind of covered what some of it says, but tell us a little bit about where you take it spiritually in the upcoming post.
Well, that whole experience, especially the next morning of realizing, wow, he slept for 8 hours without eating after we made it through that little rough patch. And it was so much better. It just, to me, was a good example of, in James, where he talks about going through trials. So, he famously says that count it all joy when you go through trials, which is, I think, really difficult for a lot of people to swallow. And
count it joy,
and understanding how to do that. But for me, it's the couple verses after that of why we can count it all joy going through trials. And it's because we can let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. So you don't usually associate that with the trial, is that you're going for perfection here, because I don't feel like perfection. Poof, we won't actually get there until Jesus comes back and we're free of all the sin. But this is kind of the work that he's doing in us to make us whole, make us complete in him. And
see, I don't know. I mean, the way I think of that is, I agree with what you said, that we will be perfect. I think we'll be perfect maybe in a different way then. I think of perfect in this context like, what is a perfect mom on earth? Well, the perfect mom on earth today might be different than the perfect mom, I'm doing air quotes for those that are listening, the perfect mom like in the kingdom of heaven someday. But the perfect mom on earth today is, I think the one that learns from the process and grows and listens. And I mean, I think you can be a perfect mom in the sense that you're as good as you're able to be. You use the tools, or dad, a dad too. You use the tools that God's given you, and you're open to being, you're teachable and stuff like that. In the same way we talked about last week, how you're a perfect student if you learn from the things you don't know and the lessons you take, and so so I don't know. I mean, I think there's perfect kind of in two ways there. Like I think we can achieve not sinless perfection, but a type of student or pupil kind of perfection where we are learning how to overcome our sins, and we're learning, and we'll never get to a zero state of sin while we're still living. But I think we can, I mean, the New Testament uses terms like blameless, that we would be blameless when he comes, and, that we could be a perfect disciple. And I think that just means that when we sin, we confess it. When we get farther away from the Lord, we move back toward him and things like that. So,
yeah, I guess it's the difference in like a big picture thinking or a, zeroing in thinking. Well, just in the big picture, have you been in fellowship with God throughout your life?
Okay, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Like the microscope would be like, oh, did you step this toe out of line here, or this toe,
Yeah, so yeah, that's a good way to put it. So like the perfect disciple, I guess, would be the one who, even though they sin, they confess it as soon as they realize they sin, and they get back in fellowship. And then you could look at the broad sweep of their life and say, well, they did everything they could, because they couldn't be sinless in the flesh. I mean, the Bible says that, but the Bible does say that we can be blameless. And so to me, blameless is about taking care of the stuff that comes up as soon as we realize it, So if you sin and then you spend years not confessing it to the Lord, and you spend years kind of running from the Lord, well, that wouldn't be perfect.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be, perfection. And so I guess, so I mean, I guess what James seems to be saying is like the trial, it drives us towards the thing that you're talking about, which is doing what we ought to do, using what he's given us. And
it's interesting to me that it's patience that's doing the work here. Yeah. I don't know. That was just kind of especially in this case, we were procrastinating doing sleep training.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like that was kind of ironic.
Yeah, it's almost
procrastination and patience are two different things.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like we thought we would need more patience to try to train him to sleep, but really, once we did it, we realized we probably have been using more patience to not, I don't know if it's patience, though. I mean, it was probably more like we were trying to ignore.
I was just trying to put off the trial. Like, I saw it coming down the pipe, and I just wanted to avoid it as long as possible.
Yeah.
But man, life is so much better having gone through the trial. And anyway.
Okay, so what's the bottom line? Like, what's the takeaway?
You want me to give away the big reveal of the article?
Well, no, that's a good point. Why don't you just tell them what the title is, and they can find it on the website?
Well, the working title, I guess, will be is Procrastinating Patience.
Yeah, I think that title will carry through.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, but I noticed on our site, freegrace.in, that you also wrote an article about suffering. I don't know how long ago it was, but it's titled "The Suffering is Worth It," so you can look it up.
Oh, I read that. Yeah.
Go read it on the site. It's just kind of a short thing, but it was kind of a different aspect of suffering.
Yeah, I have no context for when I wrote that. I don't remember. There's probably a date on it, but I read it this morning because you mentioned it, and I think the main point of it, since it's not a new article, I'll just reveal whatever the point seems to be. Mm-hmm. So the point seemed to be that if you believe in eternal reward, which we do, and you believe that the quality of your relationship with the Lord in eternity is the essence of eternal reward. What I mean by that is how you live as a Christian today in this life will determine how close to the Lord you are in eternity. Now, that's new to a lot of people, but Just go with me on that for a second. Let's just take that as the premise. So if that's the case, then the thing that keeps people from living a better Christian life is almost always suffering. I mean, maybe I could say it is always suffering. And so suffering is the barrier to good Christian performance, to living the way we ought to. So if suffering is the barrier, it's sort of a choice between either suffering or eternal reward. You can live a Christian life the way you ought to, or you could try to avoid suffering and not do that. But here's the thing, is that there's so much suffering in the world, and it seems like such an incredible cost that the suffering, inflicted by sin and the damage of sin, that cost is so enormous in the world. And to think that that is what's being traded for our quality of relationship with the Lord in eternity, what that would mean is that relationship that we have to look forward to in heaven must be so great and so immeasurably amazing because of what we're trading for it. Paul talked about how it's not even worthy to compare the temporary suffering that we're going through right now with what's to come. And so I don't know, that just sort of struck me probably when I wrote that as an interesting little piece to think about that trade. What are you trading for it? So
makes me think about, you didn't actually put this in there, but we were talking the other day about putting our hope in God and kind of what that means. And I think that's a pretty good picture there of it, thinking about that, just living eternity with him and the hope that we can have for that and how amazing that's going to be.
Yeah, the hope, maybe you could say it like the hope of satisfaction. He'll satisfy us, whatever. But probably beyond satisfaction, But if that's the base level, that we have that hope, that certain expectation that we are looking forward to.
Yeah.
Speaking of trading, you had another article which probably will be published a little bit farther down the line, but you had an article about going to trade days. I was wondering if you wanted to say something about that, or if you want to save that.
Well, I can say something about it.
Just to whet everybody's appetite about what's to come.
Well, we live not too far from Canton, which is where they say that's on their website. I don't know if this is a self-proclaimed title or if they really know it, but they are the world's largest trade days, which is like a flea market. And it is
World's
huge. I mean, they have 5
okay.
acres of land that's got pavilions and just open grounds where people set up. And for 4 days, you can come and shop. And so people come from all over and rent they have these little tiny house villages. You can rent a kind of thing, and they'll go every day to Canton while they're open. And
sounds awful to me. I mean, it sounds like something you like, but oof.
I love it.
I don't think I went.
I don't love it at certain times. I love it in a particular way, getting there very early, nearly when they first open, beat the crowds, beat the heat.
Yeah. I think I went one time because a friend was looking for a dog, and we went to this area.
That's a different side.
where there were all of these, puppies, and it smelled so bad, and it was the middle of the summer, super hot. Oh,
yeah, this last trip we went on, I went with my mom and my sister, and my dad requested that we get him a dove.
Oh.
And we had to say, sorry, we don't go anywhere near that side of Canton.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I don't
Okay.
go over there.
So, the animal area.
I don't go in the pavilions. I don't go to the animal area.
Oh.
I just go to the grounds, which is like a huge garage sale.
So, are the other things separate from the main grounds?
The animal one, I think that you have to go in a different gate.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe you can get to
So it's probably
from
like
over
a
there,
different
but
organization even. It just happens that they do it at the same time.
No, I think it's the same organization, but yeah, they just have a different, they call it Dogtown. It's like a different area.
Wow.
So anyway, I just talk a little bit about my experience going there
okay.
and one particular find I had, and
Oh, that's right. Now, okay, it's coming back to me.
Yeah.
I read it yesterday, but yeah, okay. So you found something that had, we'll leave it a little vague, but you found something of entertainment value that had some questionable,
for the family to enjoy.
yeah, but it had some questionable theology on
Yes,
it and
that
how that
just-
affected the kids.
I didn't even count on that. You
Yeah.
know, didn't think about it.
But we'll
I
say
was
that,
so excited about my find,
Yeah.
and then I
but we'll say it didn't hurt anybody, but
No.
but it's something.
oh, and really I think it was good. It sparked a good conversation.
So we'll probably see that on the site within the next couple of weeks or something like that. So we can look forward to that. What's the title? What will be the title of that article?
Is that true?
Is that true? Okay. Yeah, we'll look forward to.
I could
Forward to
probably
seeing it.
come up with a better, catchier
No, I think
title.
that fits the context. That'll be good.
It was,
People will love it, or if they don't, if they say I don't like it, we'll say, "Is that true?"
it's a meandering sort of
good.
read, but anyway.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
trying a new thing with it, which I think is going to be. I think it's going to be something people like. So
Well, so head to the site if you'd like to read more articles. That's freegrace.in/article. And I think that'll take you to just all of our articles. We have lots of categories on there, not just for families, but for single people and married people. And
we had stuff for single people.
I think so. I think
Well-
we have stuff that applies to single people. There's
Yeah,
not
I
a
mean,
single people category.
There's not a single people category. It's just interesting. You say
Sorry, I
single
just feel
people.
bad for single people.
Single
They just
people.
get overlooked, and you know.
It's true, you know. Yeah, that's a good
I think
point.
it's because it's just, you know, it's not a.
But you know, when I was single, it wasn't like I would go to a website and see and be like, "They have anything for single?" Oh man, no single. Because it's just like, to me, the world was open, and it was like whatever's
Mm-hmm.
made for anybody's made for me. But I guess maybe that's not how everybody feels about it. So
Well, I think
maybe we'll make
especially in like, you know, Christian kind of content, when you're looking for it, a lot of focus is put on parenting and marriage.
It's true.
Because they're really difficult. I mean, they're just
Yeah.
difficult. We need help. And
Yeah.
so,
Well, and that's true in church and ministry. And I heard a guy say once that this was probably not a nice thing to say, but he said that single ministry is the black hole of ministry. Now, what he meant though was that that you throw money into it
and it
and
never
you don't
comes
get
back.
anything back out. Because like if you invest in children or youth, that brings in families give to the church, et cetera, et cetera. But his point was like, singles don't generally give to the church, but they do, they soak up resources or
Yeah.
whatever. That sounds bad, but it, anyway. So maybe we could, on the site, we could have a section for singles, and it says, "There's nothing for you here."
No. I think when you get down to it, the bottom line of every article applies to
It
everyone.
applies, yeah.
It's,
If it's
you know.
if it's about the Bible, then
So we're
then it
talking about
applies.
suffering, and I related it to a parenting thing, but when it gets down to it, it's the same bottom line because
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, maybe one way to think of it, if you're single, is maybe we shouldn't use that word. Maybe we should use like unmarried as a term, because like there's no single person in the world. Everybody has relationships,
That's true.
And so it's
Yeah.
like, to identify you by what you don't have is a little bit sad. But maybe it's worth remembering that, if you are not currently married, take joy in all of the relationships that you do have, and look for contentment there, and maybe God will bring somebody to you.
Yeah.
So now let's mark this episode as for singles, and we have something for them, because I just made a little made a suffering, the suffering single. Oh, I'll tell you what we do have for singles.
Okay.
So for all of our songs, they're categorized as either album or single.
Okay, I have a single pulled up
And
right here.
I'm wondering if people have come to that and go, "Oh, look, they've got something for singles," and then they play it like, "Oh, it doesn't seem like that's for singles."
It's just one song.
It's one song.
Just one song
It's
for
a
the
song
single.
that's alone like you.
Oh.
I was single until I was. Did we get married when I was
You were
27?
26.
26? Okay. Well, that's not that old. It felt old at the time, though, because it seemed like all my friends, except the weird ones, were married. And I felt like I had kind of gotten left behind in a way, but it worked out okay. Because you're younger than me. You were married
I
at
have zero experience.
what? Being single? Well, I mean, you were single. I mean, you weren't married when you were 13 or anything. You were single through those years.
Yeah, but...
So how old were you when we got married?
20.
And I was your first marriage?
And boyfriend. No, I'm just kidding. Practically.
Wait, for which one? First, not my first marriage, but my first boyfriend. How odd. Now, none of that's true. We got married, and that's all we've ever done with our lives.
Well, part of it's true.
That's it.
We were 20 and 26.
20 and 26.
Okay. Whew, we got way off. But let's wrap this up with a song from our site.
Okay.
That is, I think, a good springboard for the rest of your day. If you're listening to this in the morning, rest of your week, whatever. I'm gonna just stop talking and.
So is this the last thing we're gonna do? Like we're gonna finish up with this? So this is like gonna play us out, or
do you want to talk about it afterwards?
Do we want to come back and talk? Well, if we're not gonna do it afterwards, we probably should say something about it beforehand. I will say this song is it is this one? I'll set my mind. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I will say that of the songs that we've gotten comments about, we've gotten the most on this one, which is a grand total of 2.
Positive comments?
2 comments. I won't say whether they're positive or not. No, yeah. So we had maybe 1 or 2 comments. So when we started posting songs, I think at some point we had a thing that said, let us know what kind of music you want us to make and, what songs you like. And we had somebody post that said, I should go back and look and see who it was, but they said that that they're having an argument among their family because one of the family members likes a different song best, and they like this song best. I'll set my mind. But the idea on this song is, so it really kind of goes along with our book, In Pursuit of Fruit, and the concept is that a lot of people try to live their Christian life by just trying really hard to fulfill a set of rules and whatnot. And so this song kind of reveals sort of the key that we find in Romans chapter 8 about what the key to success is in the Christian life. And it's not just focusing on what I call body rules that we're supposed to tame and control our body. It's focusing on our mindset. And the mindset is what is the soil that all of our decisions grow in, And so if our mindset is bad, if we're focused on the flesh all the time, then we're going to make fleshly decisions. I mean, that's what Romans 8 says. But if we have a mindset that's focused on the Lord and on heavenly things and things above, then we'll actually see success. And so the song kind of deals with that.
Yeah. So you wrote this song, but you're not singing it.
I think I wrote this song, but some of the songs you and I both worked on the lyrics on. I'm wondering if we did on this one.
I doubt I helped on this one.
Why is that?
Because this is a better one.
Because you feel insecure. You don't need to feel insecure. We worked on a few songs together. My brother did some writing. Maybe he did some of the writing for the lyrics we worked on together. I don't know, but but anyway, yeah, this song came out of my head, I guess.
You're not doing the vocals on it, right?
So we usually will partner with somebody that's a good singer. And by the way, if you're a good singer, I'll look at the camera. If you're a good singer, let us know. We'd be interested in partnering with people. What we do sometimes is we hire professional singers through various channels, but we also have we have access to a few people that work with us that are good singers too, like Matthew Simmons, who's sitting behind me. Actually, he's working here in the studio, but sometimes he'll sing our songs for us. And in fact, I think we have a song on the site that he wrote and sang. Maybe we could look at that one next week. It's really really good. I like it. But anyway, I kind of got off there.
This is I'll Set My Mind. You can find it on our website at freegrace.in. and just hit I'll Set My Mind in the
you can find all our
search
songs
bar.
by freegrace.in/music.
/music. And it's free. It says add to cart, but it's actually a free download.
Yeah,
so you can add it to cart and pay nothing.
Yeah, you
and
can
check
download
out.
all of our music. Now, when we say /music, we don't mean like heavy metal slasher or music, if that's a thing. That's a thing.
I'm not sure.
Okay, why don't we take a listen, and I guess we will... I mean, are you going to do an exit after
I'll
this?
do it.
Okay,
I'll
well, we'll
say
come
goodbye
back.
afterwards.
So, let me just say something about how we do podcasts. There are mathematicians who hide their work, and there's mathematicians who show their work. We're more of the latter. We're showing our work right as we...
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
I thought you were done, I guess.
Yeah, all right.
I'm sorry.
We want our
accident.
podcast to feel like you're sitting in the living room with us, just goofing around. All right, I'm done talking. If you
I don't know how to back it up, so we're just going to go from here.
That's fine.
I want to worship you in the morning. I want to walk with you all day. But my worries arrive at the day's dawn. They always drag me away. What can I do to escape? I'll set my mind on your return. I'll set my mind on truth. I'll set my mind on things above. I'll set my mind on you. I wanna walk in the Spirit. I wanna have life and peace. But when the flesh is where my mind is, peace dies, the troubles increase. What can I do to escape? I'll set my mind on your return. I'll set my mind on truth. I'll set my mind on things above. I'll set my mind on you. The mind set on the flesh is dead, and sin hostility. The mind set on the Spirit is surpassing peace and life bringing. I'll set my mind on your return. I'll set my mind on truth. I'll set my mind on things above. I'll set my mind on you. I'll set my mind on your return. I'll set my mind on truth. I'll set my mind on things above. I'll set my mind on you. I wanna worship you in the morning. I I wanna walk with you all day.
So if you find yourself suffering this week, remember to set your mind on his return, on his truth, on his goodness. It didn't say that in the song, but
it's good.
I think it also helps.
I found a little notebook a few days ago that had some scratched down lyrics, I think, that were what wound up being this song. And there was like a kind of a list of various things to set your mind on. I think I was trying to decide which to use, you know. So the ones that made the cut, let's see. I'll set my mind on your return. I'll set my mind on truth. I'll set my mind on things above. I'll set my mind on you.
On you.
Yeah.
Which really is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Set
But
your
I
mind
mean,
on
you
him.
really could put other things in there. I mean, like if you spend a day, you know, considering what some verse in the Bible meant, that probably is a valuable time spent, you know, mentally. So I think a lot of things, like in Colossians, you know, it talks about set your mind on things above, and then it kind of goes on to say those things which are with Christ, where he's seated, you know, in the heavenlies. And so it's like, it's kind of a broad, open field of things you can be thinking about that are wholesome and good and allow you to, you know, to experience the success, the spiritual success that you need. So anyway, yeah, I like how that one turned out. That was a fun one to work on.
Yeah. It's a good one, too, to just have playing over and over in your, I don't know, I get songs stuck in my head, usually just like one line from a song.
Oh.
But that's a good one to be stuck in my head.
Yeah, that's kind of ironic. Your mind is stuck on that. You're like, no, I want to get it stuck on something better. But yeah, that's good.
All right. Well, I think that's all we have for today. So thank you for listening to this episode of the Free Grace International podcast. And we hope you can join us again next time.
Thanks for listening. If you'd like to find out more about the content that we publish, you can go to www.freegrace.in. We are a support-based ministry, so if you would like to become a financial partner with Free Grace International, you can do that by going to freegrace.in and clicking on support. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to being with you again soon.